This imposing three-sided Gothic tower behind me was built to commemorate Britain's greatest naval hero. But local legend begs to differ. Find out about these conflicting theories and where indeed I am in just a few moments. On today's show, we're helping a couple escape urban encroachment for countryside freedom. Our houses surprise them.
It's the sort of property where you could think, yeah, I'll change my view a little bit to accommodate the property rather than the other way round.
But our buyers are quite particular about what they like and don't like.
My only criticism, if I'm allowed, I'm really worried about granite tops because I know that you have to polish them constantly.
Buy this place, I'll buy some dusters. Today you find me in the Towy Valley of Carmarthenshire in south-west Wales. And this imposing structure behind me is Paxton's Tower, otherwise known as Nelson's Tower, and it dates back to the start of the 19th century. It was built on the estate of Sir William Paxton, a sailor turned wealthy banker and MP who dedicated it to Admiral Horatio Nelson and his victory in the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805. Now, local legend has it that Paxton was due to build a bridge over a nearby river. But after losing the county election, and in order to spite the locals that didn't vote for him, he instead decided to spend his money on this triangular-shaped folly. Well, no matter what the motives behind its design, there's no doubting its imposing presence or the beauty of the Welsh countryside that surrounds it. Carmarthenshire is in south-west Wales, bordered by Pembrokeshire and Ceredigion in the north. A spectacular county, Carmarthenshire's landscape is as varied as it is epic. To the east, the rugged Black Mountain Range rises majestically, forming the westernmost edge of the Brecon Beacons National Park. Scattered within this backdrop lie some truly magical castles, like Carrig Kennan, perched on a limestone precipice 1,000 feet above the River Kennan. It has been ruinous since the Wars of the Roses in the 15th century. Heading south, lush green terrain leads to some atmospheric and extensive beaches, such as Pendine Sands. It's no wonder that the country's most famous poet and writer, Dylan Thomas, took up residence in this remarkable landscape, in a boathouse overlooking the Taff Estuary. It's here he penned his classic play, Under Milk Wood. From breathtaking mountains to wide, sandy beaches, Carmarthenshire boasts some of the best views in south-west Wales. Well, it might be pretty breezy up here, but it's a great spot to see just how easy on the eye the Carmarthenshire countryside is. Plus, for buyers, it's also pretty easy on the pocket too. For those seeking to move to this stunning part of the world, they can expect to pay around £160,000 for a detached house. That's around £111,000 below the national average figure. On top of that, there's currently around 4,000 properties on the market here, so our escapees have plenty of options. Now it's time to meet them and find out what's drawing them to this beautiful part of the world. Today's buyers share the same first name as well as a love of the countryside. Les and Leslie currently live in a 3-bedroom bungalow in the town of Eastbourne, East Sussex.
The only time our names become confusing is if you go to, say, your doctor's or your dentist and you realise you've got your husband's notes because he's got more fillings than I have.
They've lived in Eastbourne for 20 years and have 2 grown-up sons with families of their own. But Leslie, who rides horses, has seen the town expand in recent years with a new housing estate in the pipeline.
The planning permission that's been granted around us does allow 638 new homes, but that's the latest tranche. There's actually been a considerable expansion of Eastbourne over the years. I like the countryside, I walk, I ride. So to go to Wales where it's so much quieter, that's quite attractive to me.
Les is a self-employed consultant engineer, and until recently, animal lover Leslie used to run her own cattery business from the back of their house. Both Leslies are now ready for a slower pace of life.
My work is actually becoming harder and harder and longer hours. What I would like to do is to back off the physical work and do more consultancy work, more office-based work, and an awful lot of our clients are actually in Wales. If I actually live nearer my customers, I can reduce the travelling time by 4 or 5 hours possibly.
But as well as being closer to work for Les, the countryside of Carmarthenshire is the perfect place to indulge in his favourite pastime.
I've always liked Wales. One of my hobbies is flying. I fly gliders. I used to fly in the Black Mountains quite a lot. And it's just such a beautiful place.
Although this move is about winding down, Leslie won't be giving up her working life entirely and has plans to run a holiday let.
I want to continue to run my own business because I think I'd be bored if I had nothing to do. But the cattery business was very, very demanding, and I feel that the holiday let business will be slightly less hands-on.
In terms of property age and style, modern is definitely out.
It's got to be old. I don't like modern, I don't like glass and chrome. I like quirky, I like odd staircases, I like wooden beams.
To finance the move, Les and Leslie have sold the land at the back of their current house, which they'll keep for now, and they're ready to embark on their next journey.
I think we'll have a better quality of life. We'll have more quality time doing the things that we want to do. We won't always be catching up with things that we have to do, and we'll get more time to spend together.
Our buyers would like us to focus our Carmarthenshire property search around the western edge of the Brecon Beacons National Park. I'm meeting up with them in their chosen county to go over the details of their proposed move.
So here we are in Wales, a long way from home. Are you sick of the sun in Sussex or something?
No, you can never have too much sun.
Sunshine here, Johnny, at the moment.
At the moment, I've got my rain jacket in the car, believe me.
So have I.
Now, and you want to do something, you're not just looking for a house, are you? You want something with a business element to it. Talk me through that then, Leslie.
We need to keep busy, even though we'd like to take life a bit more easily. We don't want a business that's 24/7. We want one that maybe is seasonal, so we can have some time off and enjoy the later years without having to work every single day.
So this is holiday lets then, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, indeed, yeah.
Obviously, you're still working.
Yes.
How involved in this business do you think you're going to get?
I want to back off about 50% of my engineering work.
Right, OK.
Just do some work and have some time in the holiday lets, and then maybe we have some more leisure time in between. That's the sort of master plan.
So let's talk through what this home looks like.
OK.
How many bedrooms?
Minimum of 2. I would ideally like a large farmhouse-style kitchen that we can eat in and entertain in. The bedroom will be a nice size, not enormous necessarily, but certainly a nice size. And we would love an ensuite just once.
We would.
We know you like old character properties to live in. Holiday letting accommodation, have you got a picture in your mind's eye what that looks like?
From my point of view, I'd like it to be higher end of the market. I want it to be appealing to people who are prepared to pay a little bit more for luxury.
What about creating a business there?
That's not out of the question, but it has to be within the budget.
And the effort budget, you know, I don't want to have to spend 5 years building it.
Now, outside space, I suppose you want loads of that, do you?
I do, because I have got a riding horse and 2 ponies, and I need at least 3 acres for them.
Better talk about budget then.
Yes.
Let's just confirm what we're looking at.
We're looking at a max of £600,000.
That's a good budget here in West Wales. It's a very good budget. You seem to have a good picture in your mind's eye of what this business and this home looks like.
Yeah.
Does that mean you've done some research? Have you looked around much?
Yes, we have.
We've seen several. Some have been pretty much what we want,
Right.
but either not available or too high budget. So we're obviously trying to find something that, you know, is difficult to find. We want the ideal.
Well, look, you tried before looking. It hasn't quite worked out your way.
No.
Let's try my way.
OK?
Right.
Lead on.
Okay.
For a healthy budget of £600,000, Les and Leslie would like an older property with character. They want at least 2 bedrooms and their master should have an ensuite bathroom. Leslie would like a large farmhouse kitchen and the separate holiday let should be high-end, although they are willing to consider building one. Finally, they'd like 3 acres of land for Leslie's horse and ponies. We've lined up a fine selection of properties here in Carmarthenshire for Les and Leslie to consider, but I will keep the price a secret until the end of each tour. Our mystery house marries the old and the new, but will it be too modern for our buyers? Our first house is in the hamlet of Trap, just within the border of the Brecon Beacons National Park. The closest town for amenities is nearby Llandilo, situated on a hill overlooking the Tywi Valley and famous for its pastel-painted Georgian houses which rise up from the Stone Bridge River crossing. In medieval times, the town was the royal capital of Wales. Today, it features a fine array of independent shops. Property number 1 is overlooked by the ruins of Carmarthenshire Castle and situated in a peaceful rural location not far from the town.
So, let's just pause here for a moment, because I think this is the best place to get your first impression.
What a first impression.
It's fantastic. It's what a view.
Castle on the hill,
Yes.
valley there. Fantastic.
Holiday let there.
Which
Yes,
is
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
Looks almost like it should be on an alpine slope,
Does
actually.
look sort of Swiss, doesn't it?
You know what, we'll talk about that inside. It's funny you should say that. I'm glad you picked that up. But let's focus on the house.
OK.
400 years ago, it would have been a Welsh longhouse, but it's been extended over the past few decades, actually. Parts of this date back maybe up to 400 years.
Yeah.
OK.
Good first impressions then, aren't they?
Very
Absolutely,
good,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Let's go inside.
Yeah.
It's always nice starting off the week with such a positive response. The old longhouse benefits from a more modern extension to the side. We're starting our interior tour with the kitchen.
Righty-ho, come on in. Let me know what you think.
It certainly looks like a farmhouse kitchen.
Yeah, it is a farmhouse kitchen. It's got beams.
A Belfast sink. My
Yeah.
only criticism, if I'm allowed, is to say that I'm really worried about granite tops because I know that you have to polish them constantly.
Buy this place, I'll buy you some
Okay.
dusters.
All
OK,
right, then.
right, we'll keep you to that.
Right, just round the corner there, see where that Belfast sink is?
Yes.
That's sort of like the utility area.
Yeah.
But it all feels part of one big kitchen and dining area,
Yeah,
doesn't
it is.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
ideal.
you can eat here, the family can eat here.
Yeah.
So you know what's here?
Yes.
This is the hub of the home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go through to a newer part of the home, just through here. Follow me. Now, I think this is a cracking living space.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow. It is more modern, but it's done in exactly the same style. So it doesn't look like you're going into the modern bit.
This was built on in the 1960s.
Yeah.
But thankfully, because they've used these massive beams...
That's right, and this wood
put
is exactly
everywhere,
the
yeah.
same.
So they've kept the character,
Absolutely.
but they've brought it into the 21st century.
And one thing they did in the 60s, they looked after the fenestration of the building. So you've got
Yeah.
loads of
Loads of
windows,
light.
taking these fantastic views.
Yes.
You've
Yeah.
got a sun deck out
Yeah.
there. And you've got a conservatory.
Yeah,
The garden is coming right up to the house, which is lovely. And even on a grey day, you've still got your garden around you.
Well, before we go outside, I'm keen to show you your master bedroom here.
Aha.
The ground floor also features the main family bathroom in the house. Back through the kitchen and up a couple of steps is the master.
So I'm hoping, while size is important in a bedroom, it's adequate.
It's huge. It's enormous.
We could get ours in this twice.
Yeah.
And at long last, you get an ensuite.
Ah, now that really is a bonus. Yeah, what a luxury.
Yeah, the wood is magnificent.
Yeah, I like the roof light, because that way you get to see what the weather's going to be. When you wake up, you can think, yeah,
Sure.
You just think, no, I'll stay in bed today.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Upstairs, there's another bedroom, a decent-sized double guest room with exposed A-frame timbers. But we're venturing outside to take a closer look at the holiday let. It was converted from a barn nearly 10 years ago into luxurious 5-star guest accommodation for couples.
Now, put yourself in holiday mode. Would you be happy spending a week here?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's not
It's-
to like? It's fabulous.
It really is a 5-star holiday place. It's wonderful.
This place is already up and running. Peak season, you'll get £650 a week for this. One bed.
Yeah.
The holiday let bedroom is on the first floor with a vaulted ceiling and spills out onto a wonderful Swiss-style sheltered balcony. As far as land goes, this property comes with 9 acres in total. As well as the formal lawn gardens surrounding the house, there's a sloping paddock which runs down to meadows and the River Kennan. Plenty of room for a horse or two.
How much do you think this place is on the market for?
I'd stick my finger in the water first and say 575.
OK,
I think possibly a bit lower, 540.
540. This place, with its up and running letting accommodation, is on the market for £485,000.
Wow.
Really? Wow.
That's amazing. Well,
That's
I'm
the
quite
last-
surprised, actually.
Substantially under budget.
It is indeed.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need any renovation. It's perfect as it is.
That is... I am actually quite amazed. I hadn't realised that it was so...
surprised.
Yeah.
Pleasantly so.
Well, look, why don't you go and have another good look around? See what you think of it all, and I will meet you whenever you're finished.
Thank you very much.
Under budget by £115,000, our first house is an extended Welsh longhouse. It gives Les and Leslie the large farmhouse kitchen they wanted, the 2 bedrooms, as well as a 5-star up-and-running holiday let. It comes with 9 acres of land, and the property enjoys far-reaching views across open countryside.
I like this house. I think it's got a very good feeling. It's quirky, it's quaint.
First impression was, yes, I can live here. This may not be perfect, but it does have that nice feeling.
Oh, wow. Would I like to stay in this room?
Well, I certainly would.
Definitely.
It's got everything, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm a little bit concerned about the incredible steepness of the garden, but I see that someone has mowed it extremely well, so there has to be a technique, and I'm quite prepared to find out what that is. But on a scale of things, I've felt quite comfortable walking in here. I thought, yes, I could live here.
So then, Leslie, all done?
Yes, unfortunately, time's up, I suppose.
Well, you can always come back here for a second viewing, but you're happy, aren't you, Les?
This is brilliant. I love this.
Yeah, what a good
Really
start.
do. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Let's keep going then.
OK.
The coast of southwest Wales boasts some of the best beaches in Britain. One of them, Freshwater West, just over the border in Pembrokeshire, is a popular hotspot for surfers. In the 19th century, the beach became the hunting ground for an underrated Welsh food delicacy, lava seaweed. The only clue to the beach's past is a wooden hut where the seaweed was dried out. Today, local food producer Jonathan Williams runs a mobile cafe on the beach, serving snacks containing lava seaweed, or lava bread as it's known once it's boiled. Since Les and Leslie are keen to learn about local heritage, we arranged for them to meet Jonathan to find out more.
So, Jonathan, lava bread, is it actually bread, or what is it?
It's actually just lava seaweed. It's just been washed and just kneaded for 4 hours in the traditional way. But it's just the name that comes from the process of kneading it.
What's the history of eating lava bread?
Back in 1879, a ship called the Thomas Reed came to the beach and got shipwrecked. A lot of Swansea people came down and they go, oh, lovely shipwreck, and they suddenly noticed there was lots of lava seaweed. And Swansea had been processing seaweed, making it into lava bread for, past 100, 200 years. But they struck a deal with the local villagers, and then the local families came and built seaweed huts. This is the seaweed hut. It's been restored about 20, 30 years ago, and there's about 20 of these huts built, and there's generally women folk who come down every day and follow the tide out, pick the seaweed, and just lay all the seaweed at the bottom, let it dry out over the week, and then ship it off to Swansea for processing into lava bread.
Is it good for you? Is it nutritious and healthy?
It's amazingly healthy. It's full of vitamins and minerals, and we're actually calling it the new superfoods.
The first step in making lava bread is to harvest the lava seaweed from the beach, just as they would have done in the 19th century.
We always use scissors, because that's the sustainable way of collecting. So we can snip it 2/3 down, so when you come back in a month's time and it's kind of regrown.
OK.
It's one of the fastest growing seaweeds, lava seaweed. It grows up to about 5 millimetres a day.
In theory, anyone can try foraging for seaweed, and there are no poisonous species in UK waters. But you need to check with an expert that the beach isn't a protected site, the water is clean, and that the seaweed is still attached to the rock and therefore fresh. You also need to be watchful of the incoming tide.
How do we go about turning it into lava bread?
Well, it is quite a long process actually making to lava bread.
Yeah.
It's, in Wales, traditionally, you kind of boil up to about 10 or 12 hours.
Wow.
The boiling process is so long because despite being thin, the lava seaweed is very tough and needs softening to a paste before it can be eaten. With Les and Leslie keen to try some for lunch, Jonathan is knocking up a wrap. The flatbread dough is made into a circle. Lava bread, Welsh cheese and salmon are then added before the wrap is folded and left to cook for 10 minutes. Traditionally in Wales, lava bread was part of a coal miner's breakfast before a long day down the pit. It was mixed with oatmeal and made into patties, fried in bacon fat and served with cockles. But Jonathan puts lava bread in soups, stir-fries and seafood sauces.
This is our seashore wrap, and you can see you've got all the lovely salmon, melted cheese, lava bread.
Looks delicious.
It smells lovely.
fantastic.
Absolutely delicious.
I love salmon, and the taste, the marriage of the taste of the cheese and the crispiness of the bread is just superb. I've never seen this before. It's really special.
This is a first for us, and we like our food. Pleasure to meet you. Thank you.
Hopefully we'll be back, then you'll know we've moved.
Yeah, every day, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
The lava bread wrap has given our couple a taste of the food heritage of South West Wales, but we still need to find them a home in this beautiful part of the country. For our second property, we're heading 20 miles north to the village of Farmers. It's 6 miles from the university town of Lampeter. Founded in 1822 to provide training for those wanting to enter the priesthood, the university's old building was modelled on the colleges of Oxford. The pretty town was an important centre for the woolen industry in the 18th century, and today features a range of amenities alongside the student hangouts. House 2 is located on a quiet country lane just outside the village of Farmers, with views over the Cambrian mountain range.
So you've seen we're pretty rural, but look at these views.
Wow.
Isn't it something else?
Stunning, absolutely wonderful.
I'm almost showing you 2 houses. There we go.
Wow.
Oh,
yes.
right.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Beautifully done. Absolutely magnificent. Very nice
Lots
indeed.
of character.
Yeah.
Bags of character, isn't there?
Character's good.
Yeah.
You look right over there. What an amazing escape this would be for people coming on
Fantastic,
holiday.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Let's see if you want to make it your permanent home. Come with me.
OK.
Dating back around 100 years, our second property has been completely remodelled and was once 2 separate cottages. The smaller stone cottage is a self-contained holiday let, whereas the whitewashed cottage could be occupied as the main residence, which is where we're starting.
So let's start in the living room, which is a pretty big room.
It is. A very nice room.
It is. It's nice. I like
Yeah.
it. Yes.
Log burner.
What's with the strange shapes on the ceiling?
Modern beams, RSJs or I-beams.
Oh, I see.
OK.
Okay.
Now, the current owner put them in because upstairs they were getting springy floorboards. So
Okay.
they put these in.
It seems slightly strange, but OK. Yeah. The room is actually rather nice. Quite like it. Nice big. But I'm not entirely sure about the boxed-in sections.
No.
You don't necessarily have to use this room as your room. There are options with this place.
OK.
And I want you to tell me what you use as. So let me walk you through the house.
OK.
So you've got a galley-style kitchen just at the back of this dining area as you come in the house.
OK.
And then you've got another kitchen or a living room or what have you, which is amazing, isn't it?
All right.
This is in this second part of the house.
Look at the views with the conservatory.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So this is this completely self-contained unit.
Well, what is it? You tell me. You've got
It's got
2
it, hasn't it?
entrances.
Yeah.
You've got that far living room,
Uh-huh.
that kitchen area there.
That
you can,
serves that part of the house.
and then you can have this
This
as
is
a
the-
holiday let with the conservatory. Or this is your own.
You could indeed. You could do either.
Or the whole lot yours.
I don't know. I don't like the idea of living in one room. It's like a bedsit.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I think that kitchen is far too small.
OK.
So I
No
can't
kitchen
see
in there.
how this would fit what I had in mind. The views, yeah. But the rest of it, I don't know.
What will help you make your mind up was having a look at the bedrooms. So let's go up there.
OK.
In the self-contained stone annex, there are 2 decent-sized double bedrooms along with a 3-piece guest bathroom. In the whitewashed end of the house, there are 4 more bedrooms, including 2 doubles, and then a single currently being used as a study. There's also another family bathroom, as well as the potential master.
So right at the far end of the house, over that big living room that we saw earlier, is, well, potentially the master bedroom. It's en suite.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a bit smaller than I would have liked. There's not masses of space. It's big enough.
In my mind, this bedroom would be big enough.
OK.
Provided there was another room for a dressing room, storage of clothes, etc.
That there is.
Which there
Yeah.
is from, yes.
Yeah.
There's also something else you haven't yet seen,
OK.
which might put a completely different complexion on things.
Our second property gives Les and Leslie so many different options, but my feeling is they're not really buying into it. What I hope will persuade them, though, tucked away to the side of the house, is a newly converted 2-bedroom barn, which could make another holiday let. The only proviso is that it's half finished.
Just mind your step there. Great views. We arrive at this.
Well, this is a surprise.
Yeah.
You didn't tell us about this.
No.
I kept it back on purpose.
You could do anything you like with this,
Phenomenal.
couldn't you?
Absolutely
It's
phenomenal.
interesting.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
interesting.
Obviously, this is the kitchen area, living area, far end, bedroom, bathroom. This end, more luxury bathroom and a master bedroom. But you can play around with it. You could hive it in two for holiday lets.
Well, that's what's going through my mind.
One bed and one bed.
Yeah.
You could have it as your own house.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that.
It wouldn't be a bad idea.
You've got then 2 holiday lets
This is true.
in fantastic
Divide that
accommodation.
house.
Different kinds of holiday lets. I mean, you're talking about maybe families there, but 2 holiday lets there, and then the views that you'd struggle to find anywhere.
This is true.
Both barn and house are surrounded by well-maintained gardens, and the grounds include a range of outbuildings and a garage. There's also a further 10 acres of farmland, much of it pasture for sheep, but easily room for a few horses.
So how much do you think this is on the market for?
I think you're looking at the top end. 585.
All right. Leslie?
I think 650.
650. This house is on the market for offers around £595,000.
Okay.
Okay.
So not far off there, Les. A lot cheaper than you thought. So, go back into the house and then I'll meet you whenever you're done.
OK.
Okay.
Enjoy yourselves.
Okay.
Just under budget, our second house, a 100-year-old cottage, could be separated into a 4-bedroom home for Les and Leslie and a 2-bed holiday let. But the property also comes with another letting option, a converted barn in need of a few finishing touches, plus there's plenty of land to keep horses.
First impression of the house, it's got a lot of the features that we want. It is quirky, that's for sure.
Oh,
It's quite a sizable room, isn't it?
it is. It's going to be a nice big room.
Bedroom with ensuite, obviously. It's not impossible that we can make it as we want, but the immediate reaction is it's not quite what I'm after.
It has to have quite a bit of money spent on it to make it how we would like it. Although it's all very nice as it is, I don't feel I could just move in here.
So, plenty to see. I thought we'd be here till it was dark, but well done. You got around the place.
Yep.
Taking that view,
Beautiful.
Wonderful.
remember it. Let's take you back.
Okay.
It's the second day of our property search, and with a budget of £600,000, we're helping semi-retirees Les and Leslie from Eastbourne in East Sussex find a home and holiday let business in Carmarthenshire, southwest Wales. Coming up, the Mystery House puts our buyers in a dilemma.
I think it's lovely, but the question is, do I want to live in it?
And I add another string to my bow as I visit a community-run business making the country's national instrument.
Well, I think yesterday's first house went down really well. But on reflection, maybe the second property got a slightly more muted response because, well, there's so much accommodation on offer, and they were maybe daunted by the fact there was still work to be done there. Now, that suggests today's Mystery House could be a bit of a challenge for Les and Leslie. First of all, the business accommodation element, well, it hasn't even been started yet, although there is planning consent in place. And the house itself, well, they've both told me they don't like modern, merely because they don't think it gives them character. Well, the place I'm going to show them is a modern barn conversion with very much contemporary interiors. But I'm hoping they'll agree with me. It doesn't mean it lacks in a certain quirky nature. Let's see how we go.
For our final offering, we're heading south, back towards the Brecon Beacons National Park to the hamlet of Talyaris in the heart of the Towy Valley. One of the nearby villages is the farming community of Bethlehem, which also attracts its fair share of pilgrims. Every year, just before Christmas, thousands of people flock to the local post office, eager to get their cards stamped with a Bethlehem postmark. Our third house is more remote than our previous properties. A 10-minute drive from the nearest village shop, it's located at the end of a quiet country track, with far-reaching views across the Towy Valley and the Black Mountain Range.
The sun's out, and I'm glad it's out, because you get to take in the splendour of that vista.
Wow.
Stunning. I love it.
The view
Is
bigger, isn't it?
much bigger.
I think you've excelled yourself this time, Johnny.
Wow.
Yes.
Fantastic, what a spot.
Nothing in the way of it. Everything's in sunshine. The garden looks really nice. It's picturesque. It's wonderful.
It's obviously not that old, but it's in an old style.
We're looking around a barn conversion. Now, it was converted in 2004, very much contemporary style. Inside is where you're either going to love it or want to leave. I think you'll love it, but
OK.
I've been wrong before. Let's find out.
Les and Leslie wanted an older, traditional property. Definitely no glass and chrome. And although our mystery option has been created from a 19th century stone and slate barn, the inside is definitely a more modern, shiny affair.
Now, open plan is very much the order of the day here. Let's start with the kitchen area.
It is a very modern kitchen.
Magnificent, I have to say. I like it.
Yeah, it's a sort of marriage between the two.
What, magnificent and
No,
Yeah,
no.
it is.
Marriage between contemporary and sort of
I like it.
old.
I really do like it.
Yeah.
You think it's magnificent,
I
Les.
do, actually. I like it.
Leslie is saying, yes, right, which suggests alarm bells are going off.
No, not alarm bells, no. I'm a bit reserved about it at the moment. I think it's lovely, but the question is, do I want to live in it?
All right, let's see what you think of the rest of the property then, because it is all open plan, so you get a bit of flavour once you've taken it in a lot more. Now, it really opens up here, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
It's very modern, but it's stunning. Yeah.
It's totally unusual.
Yeah.
I like it, actually.
So whilst you might have breakfast at a breakfast bar, come the morning, you'd want to get in there. The rising sun, directly facing east.
Absolutely.
Come in the afternoon,
Yeah.
get out those French doors, onto the south-facing deck.
My question mark, really, I think, is having the kitchen living in all in one room. That's what's bothering me slightly.
You do have a mezzanine area above. That's like an office area at the moment.
OK.
So that could be another living room.
OK.
Sure. It's the sort of property where you could think, yeah, I'll change my view a little bit to accommodate the property rather than the other way round.
Let me take you to the master bedroom. We'll go up the stairs.
Our buyers wanted 2 bedrooms and the barn conversion gives them that. The guest room is on the ground floor and has its own ensuite. Upstairs, just along from the mezzanine gallery, is a shower room, followed by the master, which at the moment is the smallest we've seen so far.
It's a lot bigger than our present bedroom.
It's an improvement on what we've got. It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
I think it's all right.
Good then.
Yeah.
I was thinking,
Right.
you just walked past an upstairs bathroom,
OK.
but this behind me is an ensuite. Now, downstairs you've got a double bedroom
Right.
with its own ensuite
OK.
and a separate downstairs loo.
And you've got an extra bathroom, in
see.
other words.
So this goes
Out,
out, take the
right.
bathroom
Bedroom.
out. You've got a dressing area
Yeah.
and you've got the loo next door with the bathroom.
Excellent. Yeah, good solution. Makes
I
it
mean,
bigger.
that makes perfect sense.
And they'll need to keep their project hat on as we continue our tour of the property. Les and Leslie wanted to run a holiday let business, but at the moment there is no guest accommodation to speak of. However, I do have a plan and it's just beyond the utility room.
So you open up into this.
An enormous barn.
It's got planning consent
It has.
for 3-bedroom holiday let apartment or cottage.
1 3-bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
OK.
OK.
Well, it looks big enough.
You've got loads of space here.
Yeah. What's going through my mind is whether you could change the planning consent to 2 1-bedrooms, possible, or 1 2
and one and a
3,
two.
or whatever.
That would be a conversation you'd need to have with the planning
Sure.
authorities.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that would make more business sense.
Both our buyers seem to be warming to our mystery property and the options it gives them. Outside, there's a formal landscape garden at the front of the property and a Dutch barn useful for storage. And for Leslie's horses, there's an enclosed paddock, 6 acres of land in total.
How much is this place on the market for?
I'm going to go for £500,000.
Right. Leslie,
I think 485.
this place is on the market for offers around £495,000. Well done.
Oh, here we go.
Not bad team, are we?
Yeah, pretty good.
Absolutely.
At the moment, this gives you a wonderful house
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah. I can't
with the
deny
ability for business
that.
later.
Yeah.
Why don't you go back into that house, go explore,
We will.
and I'll catch you later on.
OK.
OK.
All right.
Thank you.
See you in a bit.
Under budget by £105,000, Our mystery barn conversion has a more contemporary open-plan feel than our previous properties. It gives Leslie the large kitchen space she was after, the 2 bedrooms they both asked for, enough land for horses and an additional barn with planning permission to build a 3-bedroom holiday let.
I actually love the mystery house. I didn't think I would, because I'd already said I didn't like glass and chrome. There's quite a lot of each, but the way it's put together is absolutely stunning.
When we went upstairs and saw that there is actually a mezzanine level, which would be a perfect lounge, I sort of had a Damascene conversion there and thought, yeah, this is it.
Obviously, there are questions over finance and doability of what else needed to be done. Notwithstanding that, if we were buying just a house and this was in budget, I would bite the owner's arm off.
So, all done inside?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes,
very
much.
experience. Very much so.
It grew and grew and grew.
It did actually, yes, it did.
Well, hopefully it's given you something to compare to the other 2 properties.
Yeah.
So let's find you somewhere to have a bit of a chinwag, and then we'll catch up later on.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
As a nation, Wales has a strong connection with music. Singing is an important part of Welsh culture, and the country is fondly referred to as the land of song. But the national instrument is considered to be the harp, and today there are more harps per head of population than in any other country in the world. In the 1960s, traditional handcrafted harp making had almost died out because the skills were not passed down generation to generation. Helping keep the craftsmanship alive today is a community-run business in the town of Llandyssil, just over the border in Ceredigion. I've come to meet harp maker Alan Shears.
So, Alan, how long have you been making harps here?
About 40 years.
How'd you get into it?
Well, I was apprenticed to a harp maker, and he sort of resurrected harp making in Wales because there wasn't too much of a tradition. Lots for playing, but not so much for making, and
Right.
I'm continuing that tradition, really.
What's going on here now? Because I understand this is a much newer enterprise, isn't it?
Yeah, this was an old junior school, and the idea was to pass on, to train people in our community how to make harps, to make sure the skills are kept alive.
How do you make a harp, and what do you start with, really?
It starts off with the wood. This is the sound box here, and then the sound board, which is here. This is actually made of special timber that the grain goes across. If you don't get this right, the harp won't sing. This is the heart of the matter.
This, the soundboard.
Yeah, because this is the diaphragm that the strings drive, that makes the air move, that makes the sound.
The rest of the harp consists of a wooden column and a neck known as the harmonic curve, from which the strings run down to the sound box, forming essentially a triangular-shaped instrument. A variety of woods are used, including Swiss pine and western red cedar, and some of the strings are made from animal gut. Alan's workshop produces 2 kinds of harp, the concert harp as well as the folk harp, such as this model.
How long would it take to make this?
We try and make about 8 in a month, a year to make a concert harp.
Wow.
That's how I should take it.
Let's talk the difference between a concert harp and, did you say a folk harp?
Yes. A folk harp is a smaller version generally than a concert harp, and the limitation is that you can only play in certain keys. With a concert harp, you can play in any key. You press a pedal, and that changes the pitch of the string to go from, say, B to C sharp, and you can do that with all the strings, which means you can play in any key.
Although Alan has spent 40 years making harps, he doesn't play. So I'm meeting a lay returner to find out what the instrument sounds like in the right hands.
Wow. Aleria, that's fantastic. Is that traditional?
Well, I started off traditionally, just playing the sweet way.
Yeah.
And then I thought I'd just wake people up by playing a more percussive, more South American style to it, really.
It turns this traditional instrument into maybe a couple of instruments that way, doesn't it?
That's right. It's such a percussive instrument with so many sounds and colours you can create out of a harp.
So as we're in Wales, I think we should, if possible, hear something traditionally Welsh. Could you do that for us? Take it away.
The piece Aleri is playing is one of the most well-loved Welsh folk songs called Ar Hyd y Nos, which means all through the night.
Well, this morning, I was fairly confident that the first house I showed Les and Leslie was coming out on top. But now, having seen increasingly more excited reactions from the mystery house from both of them, I'm wondering whether or not it's sneaked a win. Let's find out. So, you've had a bit of time to think things through and bask in the sun by the looks of things.
Absolutely.
Do you have a favourite property?
It's the one that I wanted to hate.
That must be the mystery house, is it?
Exactly.
So the mystery property is your favourite. Does that mean the first two houses are disregarded then? What's the state of play with them?
No, the first house we saw which was ready to move into, basically. Still a good contender. I mean, we're going to have to do some serious thinking on the mystery house versus the first house. I think, in answer to your question, we could disregard the one we saw in the middle, the second house.
The mystery property, your favourite. What about that business element to it then? Because at the start of this, you said, well, we don't want to do too much work, but now I'm showing you something that needs all the work.
Yeah.
This is true. The business element needs to be developed, and that will take quite a lot of effort.
Yes.
And quite a lot of money.
You're a couple of years away from operating that.
You're probably a year, 18 months away, yeah, but the house is so desirable and the area is so desirable, that might outweigh the problems, to be honest.
What's the next step then?
I think we need to do some investigations.
In what
we
way?
need to talk to local authority regarding change of planning, change of use of the planning.
And when you say
planning.
change of use and planning, what, two separate one-bedders, is that right?
A 1 and a 2, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
possibly, yeah.
And then if you get good phone calls or good responses on your phone calls to the local authority?
Definitely a second viewing and then hopefully an offer.
Wow. Well, look, I wish you both the very best of luck. Get yourself back up here. Hopefully the weather will be just as good.
It's fantastic.
We bring it up from the south,
Yeah,
you know.
we import it, you know.
Does that mean it's raining in Sussex now?
It is actually.
Look,
We've checked.
let us know what you decide and good luck.
Thank you.
Well, I've got to say, I'm pretty happy. Of course, yeah, the mystery property won, and that kind of vindicates our choices, but it's more than that. I think it's a victory for modern design. Don't forget, at the start of this, Les and Leslie said they wanted traditional properties with traditional interiors. But in fact, opting for the mystery house, well, open-plan layouts and contemporary features won the day. Now, yeah, of course, they need to make inquiries, but I think they've taken their first major step, not only to relocating here to Wales, but maybe starting their very own business here. See you next time.
If you would like to escape to the country in Scotland, England, Wales, Northern Ireland, or perhaps even further afield to the continent and would like our help, you can apply online at bbc.co.uk/be on a show.